I don't have many requirements when it comes to finding a partner, but there are a few things that are non-negotiable. First, I hope to find someone with a stable job in the public sector because that provides security in life. Second, as for the house, I think it can't be less than 120 square meters if it's too small. Living there would feel cramped. I know these requirements might seem a bit high nowadays, but I'm thinking about the future of my family, and I'm not that young anymore, so I have to plan for the long term. After all, marriage is a major life event, so I want stability and comfort.
I'm 38 years old this year with a master's degree, and I'm considered a high-quality older single woman. I used to think that in a place like Hangzhou, I could find an equally outstanding older single man. But it wasn't until I turned 38 that I realized that the older single men I consider outstanding don't even spare me a glance. Now, the only ones pursuing me are single men from rural areas. In other words, if I want to get married, my only option is to move to the countryside. For women our age, it's just like being a man without money. We don't contribute anything to marriage. So now I feel that living in the countryside after getting married might actually be pretty good. Maybe that's the best place for me to end up.
Lately, I think I've stirred up a hornet's nest among older single women. These fairies have been flooding my inbox with insults. Some say, you must apologize, or I'll report you every day. Others say, don't you have a daughter? I hope your daughter can't get married either. Well, thank you very much. Actually, I don't have a daughter. Besides those who insult me, there are also people trying to lecture me. Let me read you one of the most representative messages. The bride price is just a form of assurance for the woman. 200,000 yuan isn't even enough to buy a decent car, yet it can bring home a living person to do your laundry, cook for you, and have your children. So, can someone who haggles with the woman's family over the bride price really be marriage material? A good woman is sought after by many families. A blessed woman doesn't enter a home without blessings. Isn't what you're saying a bit contradictory? Earlier you said if the price isn't right, we just won't negotiate it, Os. That mean you want a higher price. Are all women now considered good women? So a groom's family that doesn't treat marriage as a transaction is now considered a family without blessings? I think in the end you should put it this way. A woman with a high bride price does not enter a home that haggles over the price. You're still talking about guarantees? What era is this? Are you still living in the old society? Back then women were oppressed and had no status. They had to die in their husband's home. But women's liberation has been around for years. Now if you want to get married, you get married. If you want a divorce, you get a divorce. If you want to leave, you leave. In this day and age, when women cheating is so common, what kind of guarantee are you still looking for? From the marriage law, to the law on the protection of women and children, to the law on the protection of women's rights and interests, the protection women have now is the highest it's ever been in history. What more protection do you need? Oh, you mean financial security, right? Then what's the point of getting married? Marriage isn't some large-scale poverty alleviation project for men to support women, nor is it a long-term meal ticket for women. Marriage is a partnership, and its purpose is to create something together. You're not a person with disabilities, so why do you need someone else to guarantee your security? People always say that a man's hands are meant to build his own world. So are your hands for asking for a bride price? What is feminism? It means women can hold up half the sky, creating a harmonious and happy family life together with men. That is the true definition of female empowerment, independence, and self-reliance. Also, please use your brain when you speak. 200,000 yuan isn't even enough to buy a decent car, yet you think it can buy a living, breathing person like you. You compare yourself to cars, houses, and money anything but people. But don't forget, whether it's a good car or a junk car, the owner can replace it whenever they want, smash it, sell it, or scrap it. A car will never betray its owner and run away on its own. Can you do that? Do you have a contract? Besides, even a 50,000 yuan car is brand new. And some people ask for hundreds of thousands in bride price, except for themselves not being new, they want everything else to be new. So comparing people to cars is just degrading yourself. Anyone who compares themselves to a car isn't as good as a car. When it comes to cooking, laundry, and having children in, you eat the food you cook. Don't you wear the clothes you wash? How many clothes does a man even have? And who are you having children for? It's not like the man is raising someone else's child. If you say a man earning money to support the family is just taken for granted, that's how it should be. Isn't it also just taken for granted that you do the laundry, cook, and have children? Besides, in most families today, housework and raising children are shared, so no one owes you anything. And as for saying you can't marry if you negotiate over the bride price, let me tell you, in business, if you can name a price, others can bargain. That's normal. If the deal doesn't go through, you can still part on good terms, right? Praise or criticism is just bystander commentary when the buyer cheers. Who doesn't try to bargain when buying something? If you can set a price, others will also consider whether it's worth it or not. Only those who are genuinely interested in buying will negotiate. So, some women aren't really looking for the right person, but rather the right price. They use marriage as a pretext to talk about money, and in the end, it's not about marrying the right person, but about getting the right price. A woman who relies on her own efforts, and not on a man such, an independent and strong woman ends up being ostracized by society.
I don't get it. Older single women aren't that rare, and there aren't that many of them. More often, after graduating, they're already 25 or 26. Then they settle into a stable job and gradually start thinking about starting a family. If they're not careful, time just slips by. It's not that we want this, it's just that the pressure from society is too much. Right now, we're just trying to support ourselves. And before you know it, you're just getting by, saving up for a down payment on a house, and suddenly, time has slipped away. It really happens so fast. Don't judge others. Your own daughter might end up just like me one day. And then people will criticize her, saying no one wants her. Would you feel good about rationing electricity, eating leftovers? We women from the 80s who are still single are actually victims of the times. It's not like we want this either, you know. There's nothing we can do. Society is just like this now. A lot of people criticize you, and some even think you're weird. I think I'm perfectly normal, so why do all of you see me as some kind of oddball? Is it really so strange for a hardworking, ambitious woman to have a stable job in a big city, to earn a steady income, to buy her own home through her own efforts, without relying on a man? Why does a strong, independent woman like this have to be ostracized by society? To be subjected to such harsh words from society, I just don't get it. You know, I really don't understand. Do you understand it? If I just wanted to rely on a man, I could get married, find someone with good financial means, and not have to work hard myself. But for a strong, independent woman like me to be insulted like this in today's Chinese society, I truly can't understand it.
Have older single women in Beijing gone crazy these days? A woman born in 1984 visited for a blind date. She's 40, has a bachelor's, works in a public institution, and her parents have good government jobs. She's in good shape and looks good. She wants someone equal. I asked her requirements. She said he must be a local Beijinger. The housing can't be less than 160 square meters. And ideally, he should have a villa. The car can't be below a Mercedes or BMW. And his salary can't be under 800 yuan. I told her, these requirements aren't really about finding someone of equal status, are they? For such men, competition in Beijing is fierce. She just said, I'm not asking for anything else. She said, I want a capable, high-income man. I suggested a few, but she refused divorced man with kids, saying since she's never married once unmarried partner. I suggested a 1,976 born man, but she said too old. I showed her a 165 centimeter guy, but she didn't find him attractive. She asked, no better man in the comments links. I got a bit annoyed and asked, what do you consider excellent? She said, over 800, 0 yuan salary, house and car in Beijing, no loans, preferably his own company. As for height, she wants someone over 175 centimeters, with high emotional intelligence, and he has to be good looking and her type. I told her, guys like that exist, but there's no way they'd be interested in you. Men like that are the type girls from wealthy families or stunning post-2000 internet celebrities are lining up to marry. To be blunt, you're just an ordinary civil servant, your family doesn't have property or cars, and now you want to marry up. I said, no matter where you go, even if the matchmaker god comes, he won't find you someone like that. In the end, she thought I was trying to manipulate her, cursed at me, and left, saying everything I say in my videos is a lie. I really don't want to say more, so if any man meet her criteria, feel free to comment below my video.
Would you guys really want to marry a woman like this? I was honestly way too blindly confident. I never thought that, given how I look, if I just stayed home and didn't go out. And now I'm already 35, but I'm really good at cooking, and I'm also very good at managing the household and being frugal. So when I shop, I always compare prices at different stores. And I don't really have any trouble communicating with people. It's just that I can be a bit forceful, and my temper isn't the best. But I don't think any of these things are enough to be obstacles to me getting married. But I'm already 35, and now it's the end of the year. So I'll be turning 36 soon next year. Just thinking about this makes me feel exhausted.
Exhausted. Right now, I'm at Xinhua Park. Take a look. Everyone know that it's the end of the year. Every family is making efforts for their own continuation. While I was here, I came across a particularly special personal ad. Please don't scroll away. Let's take a look at the sense of helplessness and anxiety that older single women are experiencing these days. This woman was born in 1983, never married, 41 years old, 1.63 meters tall, weighs 128 jin, a local who works at a public institution, has a bachelor's degree, and enjoys sports and traditional Chinese health practices. As for her personality, she describes herself as lively, generous, enthusiastic, and cheerful. As someone who is somewhat extroverted, what are her requirements for a partner? She wants someone whose age is no more than 3 years older or younger than hers, and also requires that he has never been married or has no children. He should be at least 1.7 meters tall, have an associate degree or higher, and a stable income. She also requires that his family of origin, that is, his parents are not divorced, and that he has no criminal record and owns a house. As for personality, he should be steady, kind, responsible, honest, and upright, physically and mentally healthy, and share the same values as her. When looking for such a destined person, you might think, upon seeing this profile, that it's quite ordinary. But what really caught my attention was the essay she wrote below. Please listen carefully as I share with you. I actually found it quite moving, she said. As long as you are outstanding enough, there will always be a path ahead. I wish to find someone whose heart is true, so we can grow old together and never part. My principle is, if you're not sure, don't get married lightly. If you are sure, don't divorce easily. Even though I'm just over 40, I still insist on not looking for someone who is divorced with children, because I can't forget how, as a child, I cried my eyes out watching Only Mother is Good in This World. That's also why, since I haven't met the right person, I've never gotten married. I'm afraid that if I make a choice I'm not certain about, it could lead to some irreparable regrets. Being single and maintaining my integrity has, ironically, become the best option for me, even if it feels a bit helpless. I believe that maintaining one's integrity isn't about being unapproachable, but about being responsible for oneself. That's why I happily enjoy the wonderful, noble life of being single, coming and going as I please, living freely. Fortunately, I have a real passion for life, and I can live a fulfilling life even on my own. When a person isn't lacking in either spiritual or material fulfillment, you don't really feel the passage of time. And so I've let myself reach this age 41. Now, at this stage of life, facing the major hurdle of having children, I do want to have kids, and I definitely want to have my own biological child. So, faced with this reality, in other words, if I were a man, the age limit for having children would be more flexible, and who knows how much longer I might have delayed it. But even though time is now so tight, I still have certain standards for my partner. This is also a way of being responsible to each other. If a wrong choice leads to undesirable consequences, that's not something either of us would want to see. I am someone who loves traditional culture and has studied Chinese medicine deeply. I really hope my partner is also interested in these areas. When two people share the same values and are on the same wavelengths, it eliminates a lot of ineffective communication and increases harmony between them. Over the years, I have continued to grow and mature, and my criteria for choosing a partner have changed dramatically compared to before. Now, I believe that marriage is about finding a family member for yourself. Just like the word matchmaking suggests, it's about finding someone who feels like family to spend the rest of your life with. This is my understanding of marriage, rather than the romantic notions I had as a child. Those kinds of vague fantasies are not what matter most. What really matters is fate. There's an interesting note in parentheses here. Physical desire, animal instincts, if that's excessive, please don't add me. In other words, that aspect is optional for me. I'm someone with a low sex drive. Actually, from this, you can see that a woman like this has overly high expectations for herself and her partner, which leads her to keep delaying things again and again. But she's never really thought about what kind of value she actually has in the marriage and dating market. After all, she's already 41 years old, and everything she's talked about so far is about what she expects from the other person. She's never mentioned what she, as a wife or as a mother, can actually contribute to the family. She says she must find someone whose values align with hers, someone who is responsible for themselves. But being responsible for yourself doesn't mean making others responsible for you. It means we need to take responsibility for the family. When men see these kinds of requirements, they really just run away, don't they? Because your demands are simply too many. You wrote over 1,000 words, but you could have kept it very simple. I'm 41 years old, and I just want to find a man who can walk hand in hand with me into old age. As for his marital history or other aspects, I have no requirements including his age or his job. Because I just want to find a loved one to truly accompany each other. Think about it, would I have any requirements or conditions for my parents or my family? Of course not. So why, when I'm looking for a partner, do I list out thousands of requirements? That actually shows we're still pinning our hopes for a better future on someone else. At 41, we really shouldn't do that anymore. Put your hopes in yourself. The cost of experience is far greater than the price of a transaction.
But when your potential marriage partner has lower emotional intelligence than a younger girl, why would you still choose to get married? This question was raised by a guy born in 1996 at one of our singles events, and none of the 7 or 8 women present could respond to it. Then I brought up the same question at a smaller, more select event, and a woman born in 1992 answered. First, she doesn't have children. Second, she wants to pave the way for her grandmother. Investing in marriage might not bring happiness in the future, but investing in a young woman definitely has no future. Doesn't that sound about right? Then another woman, even more impressive, said, "This question is just ridiculous. You're comparing something legal to something illegal. There are plenty of illegal businesses that make a lot of money, so why do you still go to work? See?"